There you go. So welcome everybody. So long awaited. We did a big interview on Magus before, and Magus didn't want to do it live, but Mr. Stealthy, he volunteered to do this live, so this should be a lot of fun. I received a lot of questions from you guys. I took a lot of photos, or at least Mr. Stealthy did, and we're gonna go through them, talk about the progression in game. If you at any point have any questions, fire in chat, and I'll try and see if I can answer them. So we do a split screen here. I have a lot of photos and videos I'm going to show, and then we have Mr. Stealthy on the right. And just fire your questions when you think. Just be polite and be appropriate, as you normally are on this channel. So we don't want to offend anyone, whether it's people in the chat or the guy volunteering to do this. So you send me a lot of photos and videos. But first of all, I think we should do it. We should do like a personal level. Could you maybe like calling you Mr. Stealthy? That seems so unpersonal. And you don't have to say your full name and address, but maybe just your name.
Call me Mike.
Mike. Okay, welcome, Mike, and thanks for doing this. And I love the view, by the way. So.
Yeah, I live in the far east part of Tennessee, in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So
Okay.
behind me to the south, I don't want to say the specific mountain, but that is a part of a mountain range. If you're familiar with hiking, the famous Appalachian Trail literally runs right across that mountain, like a mile away. So um, I'm surrounded by a national forest. Basically, you can probably hear some construction a little bit down the road. Somebody's doing something, but real small town in East Tennessee. The nearest town that you may know of is maybe Bristol if you watch NASCAR
Oh
racing,
yeah.
or Johnson City, Tennessee. Let's say it's bigger, but Bristol's nearby, maybe 45 minutes to the north.
Oh,
So
people say they
and
can't.
North,
People say they can't
yeah,
hear you, but you.
North Carolina is just over the just that way a little ways, and to the south also. So east and south. So the far east corner of Tennessee.
Someone says they can't hear you, but it's the voice or the sound is perfect on my end, so that's weird. And when I showed here, oh, computer sound, it says off here as well. Oh, that's weird. So weird. Let
You
me
can hear
see
me though.
here. Yeah, I can hear you fine, no problem at all. Let me try this. I can hear you perfectly. Let me just see here. There you go. Maybe try saying something again.
Something again.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I think it's good now.
Perfect. Okay.
It's
So
really
real quick recap. My first name is Mike. I now live in the far east corner of Tennessee. North Carolina is just to the south and the east of me. The view of the mountains is part of it's for the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, and the Appalachian Trail, if you're familiar with hiking, runs right across those mountains like a mile away. So definitely not where I grew up in San Diego, California, but I love living out here in the much slower pace of life. Is much lower cost of living as well, so
uh,
that helps things.
I just turned up the sound just to make sure. I think it should be good. I hear it perfectly, and it looks like on the from the OBS. Oh, then it went away again. What the hell? Let me try doing this. Nope. Oh, try saying something again. I'll just.
Something
Yeah.
again.
Yes, it should be fine now. Okay. So I accidentally just. So the first photo you send me is your achievements, and I think this photo is a lot of fun because normally when you see an account like yours that's like
Yeah.
7.5 million rating or whatever, you would think that the person played the game for 10 years or like 7, 8 years. And as you can see, your account started January 4th, 21.
Yes. Yes. Um, I kind of miss. I turned 50 this year. I kind of missed the whole gaming thing. You know, I had a PlayStation 2, and before that, I was probably the first kid in my neighborhood when I was grade school age to have an Atari. But I kind of skipped over a lot of the big gaming stuff nowadays. And um, 2020 was. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a critical care nurse. 2020 was really hard for me. So with COVID and the death of my father and that sort of thing, and was already starting to go through a little bit of a midlife crisis. I used to have a gun channel on YouTube, a lot of pistols and rifles and stuff that I don't have anymore. And I spent money on that. Before that, it was motorcycles and stuff. And the way I managed dealing with COVID patients, and unfortunately watching a lot of them die, despite our best efforts, was to get into the game. I started the game just kind of playing arenas, which is funny because I hardly ever do arenas anymore, as you can probably tell from that picture.
Yep.
Started to get more and more into it, spending money, nothing crazy. Started spending a little bit more money, and the account started to grow. And I think I came in at a very good time to come in the game because I don't Act 7 came out when I had started, but it wasn't in 2021, I don't think. But I was able to progress through the game and got a certain. I don't know how. Whenever you want to talk about champions, got one champion in particular that really helped me get through some content. And I haven't explored everything, but I have completed everything. But I haven't done some of the older stuff like Realm of Legends, or not Realm of Legends, Labyrinth or the Abyss.
Yeah.
When I first started, and my skill level is appropriate for somebody who's been playing for 2.5
Oh,
years.
the thing is
Um,
just a donation. Just keep going. Thanks, Wolverine. Appreciate it.
despite my despite the size of my account, I still struggle with some of the content that's new that comes out that's hard and that sort of thing. Eternity of Pain, for example, that sort of thing, that was rough. But if it wasn't for everybody, probably everybody's favorite champion, Hercules, my account wouldn't be where it is right now. So Hercules, fun football.
Oh, you have the characters. Yeah. Thank you,
I've
Wolverine.
got a
Appreciate
few.
it.
I've got a few. I've got Hercules out. I've got about 8. I've got Hercules, Spot, Groot, Venom. I just when I'm out and about and I see one, I'll grab it. I got one of Batuma, which is kind of cool. Who else? Zombie Falcon, some sort of zombie line of the Funko Pop things, whatever. It's like just a couple, nothing crazy. I have a real bad habit of collecting things. That's one of the reasons I had to. One of the reasons, not the main reason. One of the reasons I stopped my gun channels because I ran out of room in my gun safe. So, and I didn't want to buy another one because they get just as expensive as this game is. So, um,
So
had to
when
kind
you
of hold on
play
to everything.
the game, you really want all the characters. That motivates you to get all of them.
Yes, but not as much anymore.
Okay.
I was just thinking about that. My spending has dropped off dramatically since July 4th. The big part, the thing that really jumped me up into the single digits of the total base hero rating was Banquet last year.
Yeah. We're gonna get
I
back to
spent a
that.
lot on it.
We're gonna get back to the banquet. You send me some interesting photos for sure. Let's see. We all know your account when we look at it. It's like 7.2 million, but I think this one is also a really telling photo because mine is gonna look a lot different than this. For instance, you have your highest PvP win streak, 500, but you only have
Yeah, I
20,000
just
PvP
hit.
fights. That's on a normal account that would be like, let's say 200 250k, and you have
Mm-hmm.
20k. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that tells you right there that I basically bought all the champions that I have. In all honesty, so
Yeah.
nothing. It's fun to see that, and I appreciate that. And other people, you mentioned Magus doing his account blows mine out of the water. The difference between 7.5 and 8.5 million, plus all the stuff he's got just sitting in the bank, stuff he's sitting on, it doesn't even compare. His is to mine like
Cargo.
mine is to most people, you know. Um, but I bought all the champions I have. Realistically, I've only grinded for 2 in the arena, and that was very recently. But
Okay.
one was Silk, and that's where I got that 500 streak.
He'd say that was good.
And I'm trying to remember who it was before that. I want to say Kate Bishop, but it seems like I had her longer than that. So um, I have to really think about who it was before that. But all within the last few months is when I've done the arena grinding. Otherwise, I obviously all the units that I've spent on everything, the crystals, it was all money. So.
Okay, thank you. It's just my son coming in. Thank you. Just gonna turn it down a
Oh.
little here. We just turned off the volume, but we're gonna just turn it a little bit down because he just popped it up everything. Okay. Yeah. That. I mean, there's no. I can just. Oh, they said it's better. I'm gonna turn it up again then. Like this. Um. there's nothing wrong with doing whatever. As I also said when I talked to Magus, I think you should do whatever makes you happy, and you should, if you want to do MCOC one way or the other, that's up to you. It's your game. There's nothing that's right or wrong. So, I mean, but also, as you can see, you have like 83 Alliance War MVPs, so it's not like you're slacking, but it's just the stats. Besides that stat is decent, but the rest are low compared to the high level of your account. If you look at
Yeah.
other accounts, that's your level at least. So that's why I find this photo interesting because
Yeah.
it's funny to see.
I
Um,
just wanted to be completely forthcoming and completely honest about how I got to where I was. That way, when I do start playing battlegrounds in a day or two, when people with smaller accounts beat me, and that's an accomplishment. That's awesome.
yeah,
I love when people do that. Um, but it kind of explains it when you're like, wow, yeah, I beat this guy. I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but it's not like you're beating, uh, KT1 or Legacy or anybody like that. Somebody like that
that makes
who
sense.
can who have better thumb skills than I do.
So let's look at something else I think is funny, because that was the
Okay.
first thing I noticed when I saw your account. This is your X6. We can all agree
Mm-hmm.
X6 sucks ass. You basically
Yes.
do it because you had to. Long,
Yes.
grindy, boring, rewards not really compelling. I understand this one. I understand this photo. The next one was the one that caught my first attention. You didn't complete X7 and you didn't complete Act 8, or not at 100%
No.
at least. Can you just tell the
Victoria. Yeah.
reason?
No.
Just tell the reasoning behind, because I think a lot of people would say that's weird because you have a big account.
It
What's the reasoning behind this?
it is well. That kind of goes back to my skill level. I mean, I'm better than, let's say, average or better, but I'm not the best in the game. Some of this stuff is really hard for me. Like you were talking about Act Six to become Thronebreaker. I guess that would have been in early 2022, let's say. Um, Man, I almost quit trying to complete just do the first completion of Act Six. It was so hard. It's so hard that I kind of have PTSD from it. I don't remember exactly what champions I was fighting, and I'm not. Man, I just threw tons of money at it with revives to get past it. And if it wasn't for Hercules, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Now with the changes they've made, I could probably do it, especially with all the champions that I have. But the reason I haven't finished those is because, quite honestly, there's two reasons. One is how hard they can be. It can be very very difficult. And the second reason is, especially recently, the offers that have been available and the way that the rewards have ramped up. It kind of doesn't really benefit me to go back and do that, because what you get from completing those, I mean, I hate to sound like this, but I mean, I have enough rank 5 champions. I have, getting somebody to rank 4 is not a big deal to me, because if I decide to, I can, or I could anyway. I think I've done all my ranking up that I can. I'm kind of low on resources actually, but I mean that's kind of the reason.
Hmm?
Um,
That
and I
makes
can
sense.
understand it, if you're coming up and you don't have a lot of champion, a lot of high ranking champions, and your account's not super developed yet, then it totally makes sense. But the drawback for me being like I am is goes back to my skills. I don't have some of the abilities because I haven't done the work to do the abyss.
So what do you
The
do
20.
let's just what do you do to improve your skills then? Because a lot of people are going to be like, I want to be better, I want to be the best, and then there's like 20 people saying they are the best. Like, what do you do to improve your game skill?
Well,
Like, not.
definitely won't say I'm the best. I've started playing arena more just to get more familiar with the champions. Since I moved up to the Relax, the alliance I'm in now, even though they're not a super high tier war alliance, we do map 8 AQ, which is harder. It's definitely harder for me. I may be on one of the harder paths. I don't know, but it is harder. So I get practice with that, get better with that. Um, I try. I kind of get into cycles of where I'm really playing the game, and then where I just kind of sit back a little bit and just kind of relax and do other stuff. But I may have to go back and start messing around with the Abyss or Labyrinth or some of those, what are they called, the variants, whatever those
Yeah,
variants are.
the variants I will say does have really bad rewards. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
you
and that's the thing. It would have to just be a true desire to really get the experience of doing it versus the rewards, because the rewards aren't there anymore, unfortunately, at the level that the level that we're at. So I don't feel bad about my skills. I enjoy playing the game. When Battlegrounds came out, that was a real eye opener, because if I win 40% of the fights I'm in, even with the account that size that I have, that's good for me. So that will definitely, that's like a good message for people who are still coming up in the game with their accounts and everything. If you develop the skills, you've been playing for number of years, and you've gotten to where you can play, you can fight, you can beat anybody. Even if you don't have the right matchups. Well, you have to have the right matchup. Even if you don't have champions that are as powerful, let's say. Um,
that makes sense.
so it's kind of a positive.
We have
That's a
like
positive message to all the people coming up.
two questions from the chat. The first one is, what do you hate about MCOC? That's like a different question.
It's just like anything that's online, when you're not dealing with people face to face. The anonymity of being online makes people less friendly than they would be otherwise, because there are no real face-to-face consequences of acting like a fool or
Yeah,
acting silly, or I don't like that. I don't like people not getting along.
maybe that's
There's
a
enough difficulty in the world.
maybe that's a good thing if you collect weapons.
No, I don't. Well, you can't threaten anybody anymore come September 20th with the terms of service changes. No, I don't do that. But the one of the things I don't like about the game is, I honestly, either I'm not good enough to realize that there are bugs in the game half the time, or I've just been super lucky, and most of the time they don't affect me. But that sort of thing, and just the very unfortunately, it really does seem like the quality control is lacking big time with Kabam.
Yeah,
Eventually they get things fixed, but they kind of backtrack a lot. Um, Thankfully they haven't nerfed Hercules like they probably should have. Some of the other champions they released, like, let's say, Kitty Pride, who I'm still getting better. I like playing her. I'm getting better with her. She has kind of a dangerous playstyle, but
yeah,
Kitty Pride's probably one step away from being like Hercules, like way overpowered.
yeah,
Ghost, I suck with Ghost. Like, you can tell that I didn't start early in the game when it first started, because I can't do Ghost, I can't Quake for nothing.
yeah,
But those champ like Quake will never be I can't imagine Quake even being a 6-star, let alone a 7-star. And Ghost, the fact that Ghost is still in the game, she can't fight every fight, but the ones that she can, if you can play her, you can't lose. You know, so um,
There's someone who's asking, have you always been in a top alliance? And if if the answer is no,
no, no,
why
no.
did you go
When
for a
I
top alliance? What
Well, when I
what?
first started, I was just playing arena, and then one guy that I matched up against in the arena didn't see me having in an alliance, so he sent me an invite. So I went to that alliance, and it was very kind of low key. Great people. I was very sad, and honestly, when I left that alliance, but they just didn't they weren't they didn't play aggressively enough to advance in the game. They were just kind of holding where they were,
Mm,
and I wanted to get better. I want to keep playing. I wanted to advance my account, and then I kind of started getting that gold fever, let's say, that desire to really build up my account. So I went to one or two others for a short time. Then I went to the one I was with previously, and they're pretty good. They're a Plat 3, Plat 4 War Alliance. I think they were running Map 6 Alliance Quest back when Prestige mattered more, that sort of thing. And by that time, my account was already pretty big. I think I was in probably with the top 200 in the world at least. And this is getting to be the summer of last year. Let's say it was 4th of July, and then they did those sales coming up towards the banquet. And I was still with that alliance when the banquet happened. And when that happened, my account blew up. I mean, I jumped significantly, with the amount of money that I spent.
let's
And
get
by
back to
that
the
time, I
bank.
was like,
Let's get back to the banquet
yeah,
later because I have those photos lined up.
okay,
We
Okay.
had
So,
some
but
questions.
but
So we had. I'm gonna. Oops. Oops. Let me just put off the sound here. You. We had a few questions
okay.
about your champions, and we just
Hmm.
you made 3 videos. I'm gonna play the first one. That's your Gambit against Winter Soldier. This
Oh
is
yeah.
this is a rank 2 Gambit, and I had a lot
Yeah.
of questions actually privately where they asked me
Okay.
why did you rank up Gambit. Maybe you can just tell them all the reasons because
Prestige.
yeah, prestige,
Prestige.
and that's the only reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, he can he can put out some damage. Um,
yeah,
you know, if you get this, get the whatever the charges are called, and you get this special too. And I'm still learning to play him. I guess you apparently you have to throw a heavy to get those
yeah,
prowesses active, whatever they are. Yeah.
yeah.
So you don't have to land it; you just throw it. I didn't know that for until very recently. But it was prestige until prestige is kind of in a limbo right now, state of limbo in the game because Alliance Quest isn't as important as it used to be until they make changes to the rewards. So having a super high prestige still helps, of course, with the rewards, but that being the sole factor for your rank ups right now probably isn't absolutely necessary.
Was that like
So
did I look right? Was it like 239k on the crit from the special
yeah,
2?
I think he can actually. Well, I run suicides, of course,
Yeah.
just the base suicides.
Here
I think he can. I
100
think he can do like about 278, like 270 or 280 is the
100
best. So
102 on the first hit and I think it
yeah.
was 239 on the second.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. 239 909. That's pretty sweet.
yeah.
I mean from a champion
So
rank for prestige that's do you run him in your battlegrounds deck for instance or is this like strictly prestige?
I my battlegrounds deck changes at least 15 or 20 times during the season. I kind of, I'll give out some secrets. I kind of base the beginning off of what I do a lot of stuff from KT1. I watch his videos a lot. So he'll give recommendations for champions, and I'm like, I've got all those, basically all those people, pretty much. So except for like Nova, let's say at rank 4 or whatever. So or rank 5, he has him now. So I'll get whatever those champions are, and they mostly focus on rank 5, 6 stars, rank 4s, 6 stars, and a couple of 7 stars that makes sense. Because not all the 7 stars, even at rank 1, are the best for battlegrounds. And then it just kind of changes based on do I ever win with this champion or do I ever draft this champion? Half the time I realize I don't draft this champion,
Yeah,
so
that makes
they're just
sense.
taking up space.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
There's a couple that everybody has that I don't have. Like I don't have. He's 6 star rank 4. All my rank 4s and up are all max sig. Just a brag for a minute. Anyway, I don't have Archangel in my
Okay.
battlegrounds because when he does well, he crushes everybody. But he's RNG dependent. So if you're not getting the bleeds and the poisons and the what's the other one?
Detox.
The big one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. If you don't get all those, then you're in trouble. And he's a parry heavy play style, which is kind of difficult sometimes. If you just have an off day and you're not getting the parries and you can't land heavies, you're in trouble. You're in
You can
trouble because he's
also
not.
you can do the heavies after their heavies mainly if you get good at it. So
But yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
you'll
Punish their heavy. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, I
and
have
that goes
another
back.
another
Go ahead.
champ we
That
have
goes back
here.
to the skill. I'm still developing that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have Rocket here. That's your second
Well, he was
rank 2.
Rocket was the first one I ranked up actually.
Okay.
Rocket was the first because when 7 stars were released, I've got 33 now. I had like 22 right when I had all sorts of leftovers from Banquet, so I had all sorts of stuff I could get for 7 stars. And Rocket was the first one that I duped that had any sort of significant prestige. Um,
What
at
sig
rank
level
two,
is he? What sig level is he?
he's six. I want to say 60, 60.
60. Okay.
Yeah, and then because I couldn't dupe Sunspot or Silver Surfer, who I have, but I couldn't dupe them, and I don't think I still haven't. So Rocket was the first one, and that bumped me up a little bit over the max you could have for the ranked up 6 stars. The traditional Doom and Infamous Iron Man and Silver Surfer and whoever the other two are. Um, anyway, so it was Rocket, and Rocket's fun. Rocket can do great damage, but he can't take a punch. So you have to be really on your game to use him, unless you're just having fun. I mean, you know, we're a Plat 3, Plat 4 alliance for war. So if I wanted to use him, I could. We're, you know, it's not the end of the world if I lose a match. Um, but even still, you know, Rocket was ranked up for Prestige, and then when I duped Gambit, and I think he's Sig 40 maybe.
Okay.
His prestige is ridiculous up to
Yeah,
like
it's
Sig
crazy.
160.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
so that was a no brainer. So I'm trying to get better with Gambit.
And the last one is my favorite. It's the champ I don't have as a 7 star. Sadly, I don't have Rocket either though, or Gambit for that matter. But it's Hulk. Hulk
The
is like
OG Hulk, yeah,
the champ
yes,
I want to pull that I haven't.
yeah.
So
He is a lot of fun. He is now the third member of my Alliance Quest team. I've got Hercules, six-star rank 4 Heimdall for his uh what do you call it? Not
immortality.
immortality, is indestructible, whatever, for his other teammates. That's always good for, really. And then I finally added rank 2 7-star OG Hulk because I'm finally able to get past who's it, Purgatory and the Hood reliably using him because it's is it the buffet one or whatever? So you can't reliably use Hercules. You can't depend on his immortality to just herc your way through it. And any other science champ I tried to use, it was kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
I tried on that path. It's like path 5, I think, in section 3. I used Cap America Infinity War, and he could do it, but I wasn't consistent enough with him. Then I tried Human Torch, and for a while, because I have a rank 5 Human Torch, who's a lot of fun actually, um, and he can do it fairly well. But Hulk, as long as I don't screw up, Hulk he'll win both fights, and that's all I need him for. Hercules can get everything else. So,
Okay.
um,
But he's
but yeah,
also
Hulk, I love Hulk.
he's a
He's a
pretty
blast.
good he's a pretty good character overall, and his buff is insane. Super
Yeah,
jealous.
yeah. The buff is good
So we talked
for
about
sure.
how you had a new account, and at some point it exploded, and you sent me. Oh, let me see if I can. This photo is way too big. Let's see here. You sent me this photo of your banquet rewards, and as most people can see, you did pretty well.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did well, and I don't know if I probably shouldn't show the actual number of points I got because I don't want to screw anybody over who does it this year. But I was third in the world, and the number of points I put up helped my alliance overall finish fifth.
okay.
The alliance I was with, and you know they did respectable numbers, but nothing ridiculous. You know, nothing outrageous. So it was a lot of I threw a lot of money at that, significant amount of money at Banquet, and that's where things really went crazy. I jumped up from by then I was probably in the hundreds, like a 100 plus account size in the world, and I jumped well up into the top 25 and even higher.
Yeah. We have a question. You're looking to push top five in game, or happy with where you're at? At the moment,
No.
we are around fifth in AQ, like fourth, fifth, sixth. It's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
a decent level.
you're talking
Uh,
about alliance. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I
For my
think
account,
we
go ahead.
need to show the score because I know you don't want to, but I kind of want to. So
You can,
so
you can. I'm not going to do it again, and it won't matter because this year's completely different.
yeah.
It was like 25 million or something like that.
Oh, he asked if you're gonna push for top five in game as your account,
No,
or you fine with nope.
no, no. Because what I did, what I did to all the other accounts that I passed can easily be done by somebody else, and I don't have the sort of disposable income I had in the past anymore. So, um, I live what's the phrase? I live below my means, let's say. So I have disposable income, and I had other sources of income at the time. I just can't spend that much money anymore like that. So
Okay.
I do what I do in the game to keep where I'm at, and when let's say was it Cyber Weekend, I'm sure I'll get all those deals. Let's not kid anybody. But when if and when banquet or gifting or whatever comes at the end of the year, I will not be doing my Eminem one shot moment again. That's not gonna happen. So
Okay, but I mean, this is a pretty good score, 25 million. I mean, you
yeah,
passed
that
me
was
by
it
a
was
lot.
third in the world. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was third in the world by significant portion. I think I don't know,
yeah. We have a
but
few people commenting on the background is stunning. I kind of agree. It is
yeah.
pretty. I'm just trying
Yeah,
to
I
close
think
all
we had some
these.
recording issues in the beginning. I'm
Oh,
originally from Southern California, San Diego, California, but I live in East Tennessee now, in far East Tennessee, in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So North Carolina is just, I don't know, 15, 20 miles to the south, and actually about 40 minutes to the east as well. So I'm in the far corner of East Tennessee, and I don't want to say the specific name of that mountain, but the Appalachian Trail, if you're familiar with hiking at all, runs across that mountain. It's like a mile away. So, um, yeah, it's beautiful out here. I live up in a little what they call a hollow, so nestled between a couple small little hills, up going up into a national forest. So, um, I kind of let the maintenance of the property drop a little bit, but the cleared portions of the property are okay, but it's the forest is always encroaching. So,
it
but
looks
yeah,
really good.
that's where the view comes from.
I think we're gonna jump to your champions because you sent me a
Okay.
lot of photos of your champions. So
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna go through them here, and these are the 5 stars to begin with, and these are the champions you don't have as a 5 star, and then we jump to the 6 stars. And as people can see, you have most champs, right? Maybe you can talk a little
I
about.
have everybody you could. Yeah, the only ones I don't have are like 6 stars, like Adam Warlock, Lady Deathstrike, and Sandman. Oddly enough, I kind of want to get Sandman. I'm a real big Spider-Man fan from the old days. Well, another thing that's funny about this is my Marvel knowledge is basically from the movies now and comics when I was really young. My uncle is my dad's is my age. My dad was the oldest of 8, so his youngest sibling is my uncle, who's actually 9 months younger than me, and he collected comic books. And I remember when the Secret Wars came out in the comics. So during that time, and I've always been a fan of some of the original characters. I've always been a fan of Iron Man, Spider Man, of course. Everybody loves Spider Man. The Hulk, Thor, those sorts, and a lot of memories I have are from the Secret Wars because I thought that was one of the neatest series of comics. But a lot of these champions that come out now, like Kindred, for example, I had no idea who that was, or Silk, and they're great. They're fun champions. Um,
And
but yeah,
and you're missing Unstable Colossus as a 6 star.
yeah, Unstoppable. Yeah, I never Unstoppable Colossus. I never did the because basically the only way you get him is to use loyalty. And by the time I really started getting involved with that, I was like, I don't want to spend 1.6 million in loyalty to get to get him. So maybe I will one day. Since we're not masters or Plat One Alliance War. Maybe I'll save the loyalty and do him for that. But
And
yeah. So basically the one
a lot of people might wonder, what about Division? Because you had several options to pick him up with units.
That's true. That's true. And I almost did. I almost did a couple of times. Is that the green one?
The OG
Green
one,
Ridge
yeah,
one?
yeah.
Yeah. I almost did a couple of times, but I kind of figured with all the champions that I have, um, there'll be another there'll be another chance. I don't know. It's one of those things now where I still enjoy getting the new champions, but I'm not in a rush anymore. I'll either grind for them, I'll just wait till they become featured, because I used to literally spend sometimes thousands of dollars buying crystals, getting these new champions. Um, and it's kind of just being impatient because 3 4 months later they're available and you can get them much more easily on a feature crystal instead of just throwing money after all this money at the game. So that's
Uh,
probably the reason.
there's someone actually from our team, Logan. He's asking, are all your 2, 3, and 4 stars max rank?
Um, No, no, no. That's another thing. The 2 stars, no. Um, well, max rank, yes. Max sig, no. 3 stars are probably. I want to say they're all max rank, and I'm not sure about 4 stars. I'd have to look. Most of my 5 stars, there's only about 45 stars that aren't max rank. Um, wow, one of the bugs out here. Sorry. But yeah, I'd have to look. and that's the difference. Where that's probably another, I don't know, another 100,000 points to my hero rating if I did that sort of thing. But I don't have the resources to do it. I don't grind arena enough, and I don't do the what is it, the daily quests, the dailies where you can get the smaller rank up resources. I
Yeah.
don't do those regularly enough. I used to for a while, and then I just kind of stopped. Just modern life. My life outside the game kind of gets in the way sometimes.
I do the auto. You can do the auto for the small cats. I always do that when I have
Yes,
extra energy, and then
yeah,
I don't have to
and I
worry about
probably
it.
should. Yeah, because I probably should because I work nights, and after midnight, between midnight and 6 a.m., the patients are usually sleeping, so I don't have to bother with them too much. I could probably do something like that.
I jumped to your 7 stars, and the first thing that jumps to my mind is I actually have a 7 star. You don't. I actually have two 7 stars. You don't. I have
Domino.
Domino and Wigan. So
Okay,
these are your 7 stars, and you have one, two, three, four unduped, and the rest is duped. Is
uh,
that
that's probably about right. Yeah, Shuri, and a couple others.
Hawkeye, Fixit, Terex, and the rest is duped?
Yeah,
Pretty sweet, sweet
yeah.
account.
There's some pretty good ones. Titania, I used to use a ton. Not I don't use her as much, but Titania is great. I kind of wish she was a little bit higher. She might be one of the next ones I take up to rank 2.
What else
But
are you thinking to rank now? You have Gambit, you have Rocket, you have Hulk. Who are the next champs?
Hulk, um, Falcon's really good. He's not super exciting, but he's really good. Falcon can do a lot. Storm's got some crazy special attack damage. So does Sunspot. I'm not very good with Sunspot, but he can do some damage too. And then it just kind of depends. Maybe one of the Mystics for Battlegrounds, like for defense, like Mangog maybe, or even Dragon Man. Um,
I'll say
it depends because
for
I want to say
battlegrounds,
because my
for
say again.
battlegrounds, for battlegrounds,
Yeah.
Sunspot rank 2. Just get to special
Mm-hmm.
2 and the fight is over.
Yeah. 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 But and then some of them I'm just not very skilled with, to be honest. Venom's fun. For the longest time I wanted to rank 4 6-star Venom, and now that I have him as a 7-star, I may just rank him up just because I want to have him as a rank 2, and he's good enough. He's decent enough. He's one of the better ones in the game. So
We have
that might be
two
rank him.
questions. The first one is
Okay.
which character is the highest sig you have of the 7 star, and what sig is it?
I think it's probably Rocket or Falcon, and I think they're Sig 60, 60, maybe
60?
Sig 80. Yeah,
60
Falcon
or
might be
80?
Sig 80. Yeah.
Okay. So rank 2, 660 Rocket, or
Hmm.
Falcon that's 60 or 80.
Probably, yeah.
There's one guy who says you're a pretty regular guy, just with some cash. Anyone asked about his profession? Like, what is your profession? You talked a little about it.
Yeah, I think in the in the beginning we may have been having audio trouble. I'm a registered. I'm 50 years old. I've done a bunch of things, but for about the last 9 years now, I've been a registered nurse, critical care, not in smaller hospitals here in East Tennessee. So that's what I do. Um, Before that, I drove trucks over the road. I was a driver trainer for a while. Did that for a number of years. Some odd jobs here and there before that. I used to work at if anybody remembers Singular Wireless, that was bought up by AT&T Wireless cell phones. I worked for them in a call center. I was the manager. When you want to speak with a manager, they hand the call over to me, and I do what I need to do to keep the account, keep the customers. I worked at an Italian restaurant pizza place when I lived in North Carolina for a while.
Okay.
What else? A security guard. I worked at a security guard for a while. I worked at a um, call center for the deaf and hard of hearing. So I would translate conversations, um, spoken conversation, I would type it out for the deaf and hard of hearing, and read back, what they were typing to the person on the phone call. I was a Marine for 4 years, and before that, I was in college again, and that sort of thing. So
The
But most
first
recently, nursing. That's what I'll retire doing is nursing. I really enjoy it,
the
to be
first
honest.
question that comes to mind, because I know you live in another country than me, but a nurse in Denmark probably wouldn't be able to do 25 million in banquets. So
Yeah.
did you win the
Um,
lottery, or did you just get a big raise for a month, or
well, because of my age, and then I have been working steadily since I could. Um, I live modestly, but everything I have I own. So I own my house, I own the property, I own my cars. I'm single. I don't have any children, so that's an expense that that I don't
oh,
have.
you're rich?
Um, no, I'm not. I'm not rich.
No children, no children. That's rich.
Yeah, well, yeah, in that respect. Well, yeah, I might have money, but I'm poor in my life. Let's say I don't
Okay.
have children. But no, I came into some money right at the end of 2020, beginning of 2020. Actually, my father passed away, and he owned property in San Diego, in California, which is it's not San Francisco, but it's still it's anything in Southern California is worth a lot of money. Um, so, and being an only child, all that came to me after I settled his estate. To be honest, so I took a lot. Obviously, a lot of that money I put away. But I still had a significant portion that when I invested it in the returns and everything, I had the money to do this. So on my nurse's salary, no, I do well as a nurse. I The cost of living here is low, and in addition to that, I do well as a nurse. But my loan did not pay for everything that I have. So
Okay, we have
in all honesty, it was
Jacob.
from that.
Jacob is asking, is his story 100% in every act? Nope, it's not. We showed that in the beginning. He basically didn't 100% anything. He did one
No.
run through everything, and then he didn't find it worth the time to do it. Then we have a guy
Yeah.
asking, how did Marvel in general caught your attention? Like, why this game or this?
That's That's really funny. I'm trying to. I've thought back a couple of times to that, and it was probably just because of all the movies that were coming out, and I probably saw an ad on, let's say, Facebook or something like that,
Yeah.
for the game, and I kind of needed something to do. I used to, like I said, I used to have that YouTube gun channel, and I kind of didn't like where in the United Second Amendment they call it in the United States, it's the right to bear and carry arms and that sort of thing. I didn't like how the community was reacting sometimes, and the push back against gun channels and that sort of thing. So I got out of that, and I kind of didn't have anything to do. I wasn't making gun videos anymore. I wasn't really buying guns like I used to, and just one of those things where it's kind of late night TV commercial sort of thing. I bought the exercise thing. It was Marvel Contest of Champions. I just started playing, and I enjoyed it, and it kind of linked into my love of the movies and the comics, from when I was a kid.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna jump
Yeah.
to the to your Titan charts. Uh, as you
Oh,
can see,
yeah.
you have 31K,
Yeah.
and you have well, now not a lot of 7-star charts, but you used to.
No, and that's the thing. I had. Well, there's some others in our alliance that still have way more. I had like over 1 million 6-star shards, and that's how I got all the 7 stars that I have, of course. Um, and all the the Titan shards. So when the new Titan crystals come out in a couple weeks, I think it's a couple weeks, I'm gonna have to really think about if I want to. I'll probably get one and see who I get, but I'm not gonna do them both because there'll be more Titan champions available as time goes on. So
Someone asked if is it Funko Pops behind you?
yeah, yeah, just a couple. I'm not a big collector, like I said in the very beginning of the chat. If I happen to see one out on town or whatever, and it looks cool, I'll buy it. But I've got about 8. So, but yeah, Hercules is super hard to find of anything Hercules. If you don't know that. And then when Spot came out, I got Spot. Groot's my favorite, of the Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. I got a Venom one, it's kind of cool. So I've always liked the champion in the game. I think I have Zombie Falcon. I've got one of Nightcrawler, one of Longshot, and I think Atuma's. I've got 8. Atuma's the other one. So, and I see them around. If you go to certain stores, you can see them all over the place. But one of the a pharmacy store in the United States, Walgreens, that I go. That's where I get my medicines. I'm getting old enough where I got medicines now. Every once in a while, I just look in the toy section and there's one there. I was like, that's cool. I gotta have that, so I'll buy it. But I don't collect them like I collect champions in the game. So
I'm just running through your relics here, and you have a lot of relics. 3 stars,
I
four
start.
stars,
I
five.
started. I started late on the relics. I'm playing catch up on that. I finally got 5 of them that are 5 star. What is it? Rank 4 that are maxed out. So um, yeah, that was that's how I kind of got my prestige up a little bit higher. But I'm definitely behind the game compared to some people with the relics for sure.
Is it a plan to catch up, or are you just gonna kind of let it be?
Um, Probably not immediately because I've really cut back my spending in the game. Um, and up until the fact that I don't do well enough in battlegrounds to get really high in the gladiator circuit to get the was it celestial alloys, I think, to rank up the relics. They're just now available through, I can't remember which store it is, the celestial alloy. Um, it kind of depends. I've got a couple. I think I have a couple of six-star relics, but I don't even think they're awakened. So, and my prestige for the alliance right now, I think I'm third or fourth. So I'm not concerned with that for a while. Um, all I have to do is dupe Gambit again, 7 star, and it'll shoot crazy high. So I'm not too concerned about the relics. I definitely enjoy having enough relics to just have a champion with a relic, even just as a bridge between a combo to a special or something like that. They may not always be appropriate to that champion, but I think it's a very important part of the game, and it will be even more so because some of them, like Gambit, I have as a 7 star rank 2. The relic, I have a 6 star relic. I don't think it's awakened, but it makes a big difference. It definitely helps him. It's the same thing with Hulk. I think Hulk works out well with his own relic, and the new champion Silk that I'm still learning. Having, I think it's the Hulk relic, but having a relic on her really makes a big difference because the way you have to her play style. So
What's your thoughts on relics overall? Because relics have been like people have been like on and off about it. Like some people hate it, some people love it, some people don't even use
yeah,
them. What's
yeah.
your?
I, I I think the game would be fine just without him. Um, I'm one of those people that completely understands that this is a game from a company that's trying to make money. So I understand that they're introducing new things to make money. I think you can play the game just fine without relics. If you're not in the prestige race, you definitely don't need them. I think there's a couple of champions, like I said, and by no means am I an expert on how to use champions or play the game, but there are definitely some champions that really benefit from the relics. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean they're cool. If they hadn't introduced them, I wouldn't have missed them.
Okay,
I don't think.
so it's okay, but you're not like celebrating that they came into the game.
No,
Someone asked who's your overall favorite character.
my favorite, the champion I could not do without is Hercules, of course. They screwed up. Kabam screwed up when they released Hercules. He's too powerful. Um, my favorite champion. I've really been thinking about this because we're gonna do that interview. Um, for haircut, it'd be a Kingpin. But if I really had to be honest, the one champion that I really enjoy using, who wins matches that I would not expect him to win, and can kind of get you through stuff that you have trouble with, is Nick Fury. I love using him. He is way more powerful than he should be. He's not overpowered, but he's just a person. He doesn't have any special abilities. He doesn't have any superpowers or whatever. But the stuff he can get done, the people he can beat champions that bleed or don't bleed. Um, you know that second when you get to his second life, you know, ideally you don't get to his second life, but when that second life kicks in, man, he hits like 10 Nick Furies. He'll crush people. He'll win fights you don't expect him to win. I think I enjoy using him the most because he's fairly easy. There's nothing complicated about him.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, that's probably the Hulk though. The new Hulk, I really enjoy using him, and Human Torch. I've really gained an appreciation for Human Torch. But yeah,
If we go to, you sent me like a lot of I think you called it like knickknacks or something like that.
I just yeah, the stuff I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just gonna go. As you can see here, you have like 5K overflow ISO. You have a lot of embers. You even have some red items. So you have some stuff. What I noticed something specific. I just ran through all your photos really quick.
Uh
Let me
huh.
find. I found one photo I really want to look at. It's this one. You have 42 generic awakening gems for 6 stars. And then
Oh yeah.
I just stopped when I saw that, and then I said, ah, okay. But then I started looking at the other 6 stars you had, like
Yeah.
13 mutant, 8 science, 13 cosmic, and whatever and whatever.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That that goes back to when I was really spending in the game. The amount of ISO that I have. I mean, I know there's people that have more in the game, but there was a point where I for a few months, I had 50 or 60,000 ISO like month after month after month because I was spending so much money on popping crystals, um, and getting that's how I ranked up. Not, excuse me, that's how I got the SIGs on a lot of my champions. I didn't most of the time I never needed to awaken them because I was putting in so much money to get this new champion, that the other champions that I was pulling would naturally dupe them and get them sigged up. So that's and you can't sell them, so they just sit there, collecting dust.
That makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
so now you took a drop off in money put into the game, and you still put a little money into the game. Do you? I had a question from someone. Do you support people around the game? Like, for instance, you say that you watch a lot of KT1. Do you support
Hmm.
him? And if yes or no, why or why not?
I who am I? I do the only well, I was gonna try to subscribe to your channel. I gotta figure out how to do it or donate to your channel. But the only one that I do, I probably should do KT1, and if I don't, I need to correct that because I've taken a lot of advice from him over the years. The 2.5 years. The only other one I do is Max. That used to be in our alliance until a short time ago.
Yeah.
And I think I do like the basic subscription donation or whatever to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to watch. I don't watch him nearly as much as I used to, and nothing against him. When I first started off was Prof Hoff.
Yeah.
I used to watch his stuff a lot more, but it does his channel. I don't want to sound like an elitist, but his channel doesn't really have information that really applies to my account anymore most of the time. You know,
Yeah.
um, so I don't watch it as much, but he's still fun to watch. He's a great guy. We emailed back and forth for a little while in the beginning. He actually he featured my 6 star rank 4 Hercules in War from early part of last year. Um, when I was one of the first people. I can't say the first people, but I really invested heavily in him and was using him quite a bit in everything. So that was kind of fun.
There's also one who had a question, not today, but yesterday he sent it to me. Like, if you could change one thing in the game, what would it be?
I think it would be the difference in the free to play versus the people that put money into the game. Um, I tell people when they ask what am I doing on my phone, I say I'm playing this game. It's like, oh, do you have to pay? And I said, no, you don't have to pay, and you probably shouldn't. But unfortunately, if you don't invest money in the game, it is not easy to progress. It's easier now because they've made changes to some of the content coming up. Act 5 and 4 and 5 and that sort of thing made some of the stuff easier. I think Act 6 is easier now. Um, but there's a huge disparity between the people that spend money and the people who spend a lot of money versus the people that are just grinding away, putting in their free time and they're free to play. They're
Yeah.
not putting money into the game, and they're not rewarded for the effort that they're putting in. Um, that's balanced by the fact that I know that this is a company that's putting out the game. They're for profit. They're trying to make money. So unfortunately, you kind of have to expect that the people that don't spend in the game are not going to get as good of rewards. But I think they should be capable of doing comparable things, and I think Battlegrounds is great. Um, if you've got the skill, um, and you have a decent roster, you can beat people like me all day, and people do. They beat me all day long in battlegrounds. Um, and you can get in the gladiator circuit and get some rewards. I think the rewards for gladiator circuit should be even better than they are.
Yeah.
And just battlegrounds in general, because battlegrounds is the closest you can get to true one-on-one fighting, and it's a true test of skill and your knowledge of the game. If you have all these champions but you don't know how to play them, or you can't remember that this is the trick to beat this guy, or when you're fighting with this champion you do such and such, um, that's how you're rewarded is in battlegrounds, really. And it should be the great equalizer, but it can't be in certain ways, because it's also unfair to people that have big accounts. Let's say maybe they didn't spend a ton of money, but they've been playing for 8 years and they're in the 5 million level, let's say, and the hero rating. So they've got a really good account, really strong, well developed account. Um, they shouldn't necessarily be penalized or penalized, however you want to say it. They shouldn't be penalized for fighting a lower account with some sort of um, matchmaking equalizer, let's say, if that makes sense. So they in the last two, I think, last two seasons, they had the account restrictions, or the most recent one, they had it where the account restrictions turned off when you got up to like Diamond 1 or whatever. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not in the spirit of battlegrounds, but it's not against the rules. I farmed like I was born in this part of the country instead of just live here now. I farmed all sorts of points in battlegrounds. I stayed in whatever it was, Diamond 1 forever, and because I know personally I could get into Gladiator Circuit, especially with the changes they made. But for me to get out of Uru 1, if I get out of Uru 1, I'd be amazed,
Okay.
because there's just so many people that fight better than I do. So that's how I got my rewards. But people that have accounts and the skills to get up into Gladiator Circuit should be rewarded, whether or not you put money into the game. Because if it was just people that spend money in the game, I mean, how many people would be playing? Half, a third, you know. So, I think it should be that everybody can play and have fun. I mean, if you're going to spend money, I understand that you would expect to have rewards that are comparable to that. But if you're putting in that much time and effort to develop your account and you're not spending money, I think you should be rewarded for that as well. So, it's I think Kabam definitely has some things they need to fix, and some changes, and things they can tweak. But I think Battlegrounds is definitely what's saving the game right now.
Okay.
Um,
So let's say they remove battlegrounds. Would that be like a game decider for you?
I don't. Well, I enjoy Battlegrounds, and it has definitely made me a better player. Um, I have so much money invested in the game. I'm probably gonna be here until the lights turn out. You
Yeah.
know, till they turn off the lights and lock the doors. Um, so hopefully that's another 5 or 10 years or whatever. And there's a million champions in the game, and there's 1,000 champs you can have, and that sort of thing. Unless something drastic changes, I intend to play until it's just completely unplayable, or it ends. Um, yeah,
Do you have like any advice for players? Like, I mean, you obviously use money to steamroll your account, but your account is in MCOC wise anyway fairly new. Let's say someone picked up the game tomorrow, grabbed their phone, said, "Hey, I want to play this game with my
start
son or
playing.
my wife or myself or whatever." What's a good advice you would give to people?
I Right now, um, based on my experience, I would say you need to make Paragon as quickly as you can. You need to complete the content you need to do to get to Paragon. KT1, KT1, sometime last year, maybe it's this year, had a video where he did a blueprint of how to best use your resources and your time in the game, and it was complete act such and such and do this variant to get these rewards and this and that. It may not be 100% applicable now, but having some sort of blueprint like that, um, there's certain parts of the game now that just unfortunately are probably a lot of fun and very challenging, but like we talked about, like Abyss, Labyrinth 11 Legends, and that sort of thing, they just don't, the rewards aren't there. You need to focus your time and your effort on content to get your account to where you will benefit from increased rewards like Paragon Liver or Thronebreaker or Paragon. And then when the big things, the big, what do you call it? The big offers come out every year. 4th of July, Cyber Weekend. I want to say Valentine's Day was kind of good. I can't remember. Those sorts of things. You need to really pick and choose. If you do spend money, you need to pick and choose what you do. The one thing that definitely makes a difference is you can earn currency in the game. You can earn units for free in the arena. It's just you got to take your time, or you got to put time into the game, and that's one of the things that I haven't done because I was spending so much money. But I kind of goof around with every once in a while. I'll do like the 4 million arena real quick to get 135 units, just because my account, it doesn't take long for me to get 4 million in
Yeah.
the arena. Plus, you run suicides. So you have to have a strategy, because you only have so much time, you only have so many resources. Whether you're spending money, if you can afford a couple of bucks again, a week or whatever, um, you know, or if any all of your time that you're spending to get units, to get things, um, you need to be smart about it. And that's the one. It goes back to one of the other questions you had. What are the one of the things I don't like about the game is the disparity between people who spend and don't spend. When I think anytime Kabam offers something, that it should always be either cash or units, not just one or the other. Um, and units is fine because the people that spend can always get units, but I don't
Yeah.
think they should ever offer anything that is only spend. I don't think that's right, because you're really um, putting the knife in the back of the people who are putting time and effort into the game but aren't spending money. So
Okay. So it should be able to use units instead of money,
I think so.
and people
Yeah,
who have money can just buy it if they don't have units or don't want to grind. That makes
it's it's
sense.
it's inconvenient, but you can do it. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that makes sense. There's someone who asks. We talked about your favorite champion or the favorite character, but who is the champion you like to play the most?
okay. Um, hmm. It's it probably changes because, like I said, I'm still, I've only played for only 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years. So some of the older champions that were released prior to 2020 or 2021, I still kind of are new to me sometimes. So, and it kind of changes. Like, I'll see a video of somebody doing such and such using Hyperion, and I'm like, let me see if I can do that. I'll play with Hyperion for a little bit,
Yeah.
or um, some of the newer champions, let's say like Silk. I like anything Spider-Man, Spider-Verse. I love that. So I'm still trying to learn her. Um, but I don't want to say Hercules, because he's really fun to play, but it's because he just kind of blows stuff up. It's like using an atom bomb when all you need is like a BB gun. Um, but some of the ones that aren't super high skill, but there's still a little bit of a trick to them.
and
I
I'm
enjoy playing.
and I'm just scrolling through your champs. You have 76 rank
Hmm.
fours and
Yeah.
21 rank fives, and then you have all the
Hmm.
7 stars. Who is
Yeah.
who is the who is the champs you have rank 5 and rank 4 you use the least?
The least, infamous Iron Man, Silver Surfer. Shuri's really good. I need to get better with her. Baron Zemo. I mean, he is good, but he's not as good as people think he is. I don't think. Um, so those are the ones that I don't use. Uh, what was it? Immortal Abomination and King Groot. I love to use. They're so much fun. King Groot especially. He's just so much fun. If with a little bit of luck, you can finish a fight with 100% health. It takes forever. It actually doesn't take that long. He's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
But
I just
Immortal
looked at
Abomination.
the rank 5 King Groot,
Hmm.
and I was like,
Yeah,
wow, I was a little
yeah,
surprised by that one. It's not a
yeah,
one you see a lot.
yeah. And so like I said, same thing with Immortal Abomination. The most favorite ones are honestly Nick Fury, I'm really starting to use Doctor Doom again. I used him when I was coming up earlier as a 4 and a 5 star, and then I kind of dropped away, and I kind of forgot about how good he is, how really good he is, and he's an amazing defender, of course. Um, but in battlegrounds, I want to say my mastery setup, I think I have max. I have 5 out of 5 Mystic Dispersion because there's so many Mystic champions that are good defenders. I've started using Doctor Doom a lot and really appreciating how good he is, and trying to try. I know it's going to sound funny, trying to relearn the Doom cycle and use that properly, or just the Doom slap up against the wall and all that sort of thing. It's fun. It's fun. So
Yeah.
I enjoy him. Scorpion's really good too. Scorpion's really good, and so
Scorpion
is Kate
is
Bishop. Yeah.
Scorpion is one of my favorite rank fives. I don't have as many as you, but wow, that guy can just do everything.
Nimrod's really good too. He was one of my first non-prestige rank fives. He was actually him and Kingpin. So I had the top 5 prestige, and then I did Kingpin and Nimrod, and then I want to say 4th of July happened. You had all those 4 to 5 rank 4 to 5 options. That's when I ranked up all the 6 stars. So
There's someone asking, do you think 6 stars are dead now that they introduced the 7 stars?
no, when rank 3 7 stars come out, they're gonna have a lot of trouble if the 6 star is not ascended. Ascension will help, definitely, because an extra 22% in attack and health makes a big difference. Um, but that's only on their base attack rating and their health rating. It doesn't have to do with the combat. What is that? The combat something or other,
Oh,
whatever it's called.
the power gain.
Yeah, yeah. So the 7 stars are still where the game's going, realistically. But easily through the end of the year and probably well into next year, 6 stars are going to be very relevant, and probably well into this time next year, 6 stars will still be relevant. Um, After once rank threes are all over the place, then it's a different story, maybe. Um,
So
in real high competitive stuff like Alliance War and that sort of thing, you probably definitely have to have 7 stars. Um, and for some of the content, like when we do map 8 Alliance Quest, and when they made those tweaks to the 7 stars for a week or whatever, and we didn't realize it at first, we were getting our butts kicked, or I was anyway, fighting these people that I usually didn't have trouble with. And then you kind of saw just how powerful 7 stars can be compared to 6 stars.
yeah,
But for right now, 6 stars are definitely relevant. You can get by, especially in battlegrounds. Let's say rank 3, rank 4, rank 5, 6 stars are easily enough to get the job done most of the time. And if you come up against a rank 2 7 star, you may have some trouble. You may have some trouble winning that. You might win the fight, but you might lose the match. Let's say.
okay.
But I think the changes they made to um, points for finishing the fight quickly in battlegrounds, where they reduce those points, I think that makes a big difference. That equalizes a little bit for the champions that you have, and maybe even your skill, because some people will have the same champions fight a little faster. Let's say.
That makes
So
sense.
that kind of helps out people like me who suck, who don't fight as well.
We
But
have a we have a
yeah,
question that's
six.
gonna
Yeah.
we have a
Go ahead.
question that's gonna play your mind. It's a question. Who were your favorite champs early in the game and why? Like when you were progressing in the game before you got all the beastly characters. Who were your MVPs and
Rank
why?
Yeah. Rank 5, 6. No, excuse me. 5 star. One of the first 5 star maxed out 5 stars I had was Odin, and I still like Odin. Every time I'm ranking up somebody, I always go back and think about Odin because he can do some damage. He can really do some damage as an attacker, and he's got those pre-fights that are pretty good. So it was Odin. I used to use Havoc a lot, and Havoc's making a big comeback because of Battlegrounds. So Havoc was a lot of fun, although I don't think I use him very well. Um, Also, who was it? Um, Shoot, Venom. Venom, I loved when I first got Venom for the longest time. I was like, I gotta rank up Venom. He is so much fun. Venom. Um, but yeah, and then Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom. I didn't really fully understand how to use him, but I used Doctor Doom a lot too,
Okay,
especially 5 star and that sort of thing.
that makes sense. Do you remember who was your first 6 star?
I don't. I really don't remember. I have no clue, to be honest. I really don't. It's probably Daredevil, classic Daredevil or something like that. No, I don't remember. I
Okay.
don't remember stuff like that.
So now
Yeah.
we had 4th of July deals. They changed a lot of things in the game, especially for people who
Yes.
just got Paragon and used a lot of money. With the
Hmm.
game's progression, where do you think we're gonna land the cyber deals? What's gonna be in the cyber deals? Do you think cyber
I
deals
have
are
no idea.
like cyber deals are like what,
Um,
3 months away ish?
yeah, November. Yeah,
Yeah,
November. What's the? We're in August. Are we in August? Yeah, August.
yeah.
What's August, September? Yeah, 4 months. Um, I really hope right now we can't make rank 3 7 stars. I hope we're not able to do that until next year, because when that happens, there's a lot. Smaller accounts are going to be in a lot of trouble if you're trying to be competitive at certain things.
Mhm.
Um, and even bigger accounts. um, I think we'll definitely see some sort of awakening gem for 7 stars. Maybe some sort of a small amount of sig stones for 7 stars. The ability to make rank 5 6 stars is probably going to be a big deal, and or something because of ascension. I hope they really do ascension properly, because that will really help people who want to stay in the game, been playing for a long time, and have developed their account to a certain level, but don't have a ton of 7 stars. And um, you know, if you can ascend your 6 star, even rank 3 or rank 4, and make them a couple ranks higher power wise, that'll definitely help with the longevity of the champions that you have in the game, and I think it will help the game overall tremendously. So I hope we see a lot of stuff for ascension. The ability to awaken 7 stars at least, and throw a couple sig stones into them, maybe 26 stones or something like that, 40. Um, I personally do not want to see rank 3 stuff until next year.
Okay.
But that's me.
We have
But
two
because when
two.
that happens, yeah,
We have two.
when that happens, the guys that spend crazy money in the game, I mean,
Yeah, they're gonna explode.
they're going to be unbeatable.
We have two questions. Do you watch many of the tournaments like Vega, Ghost Dog, etc.? And if so, who do you think is the most skilled or knowledgeable player you have seen?
I don't watch a lot of them. I do watch Vega MCOC Vega. I watch his videos. I watch a lot of KT1. He's really good. Vega's probably knocking on the door of being top of the top. We know KT1 is. He's in the top 20 regularly. Um, Barrel Man can obviously fight. He's really good. He's a little divisive. He's some of the things he does don't win any fans, but he can definitely play. And then some other people like I guess was it Kurt MCOC. But when they have the tournaments, I don't really watch them. I'll kind of catch a couple of fights, but I don't watch like the whole thing, you know. Um, and then they'll have tournaments within their alliance, like for Loki, for example. They'll have a tournament, and that's fun to see because FinTech can play. I think he's in for Loki. FinTech can definitely play, and I watch some of his videos too.
I think
But
Fintech is
no,
in New Nation, right?
yeah, there you go. Probably, yeah, yeah. And then for I get Legacies and for Loki. I watch his videos sometimes, and he's pretty good. Apparently, back before I started, he was really good because I think he won like the first official Kabam MCOC whatever,
Yeah, he did.
if I'm not mistaken.
I've been teammates with Legacy and Seaton actually a long
Yeah,
time
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we have another
He's
question.
cool.
We have another question. Who do you think is the most underrated champion in the game? For instance, I loved Loki. Like, who is the best underrated champ?
um, Loki. My girlfriend likes Loki from the TV shows and the movies. That's an interesting question. The first one that comes to mind may not be the right answer, but Odin's really good. Odin's pretty good. Um, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't
Odin.
think there's a wrong answer because it's who you feel is underrated. So
Underrated. Um, Falcon probably doesn't get the respect he deserves, because he's not flashy. But if you use him right, his ability, his defense, was it ability
Lock.
accuracy reduction?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lockdown.
that's a big deal. That's a
Yeah.
big deal sometimes.
The lockdown is
And
pretty huge.
he can do a lot of damage. Yeah, with the lock on too.
Oh.
He can do some really good damage. Um, Probably somebody like if you watch what's that one Allison Edits, I think is her name. She uses Ronin, Ronin, the sword guy Ronin. She does crazy stuff with him. And sometimes I can't tell if it's just because the champion is better than people realize, or if she only plays him so much that she's like the best player in the world with this champion. So you'll see stuff like that on videos. Um, but yeah, it's hard to say who's underrated. Um,
You could just.
Kingpin, and Kingpin's no secret to anybody, but Kingpin's really good.
Or King Groot. King
Kingpin
Groot
is
could be a
really
good
good.
answer for you as well, maybe. Rank
Yeah,
5 King Groot.
King Groot's not bad. Immortal Abomination, he's good too. He's really good. But King Groot, his regeneration, if you take your time and fight him well, and it's a reasonable matchup, man, he may not do it fast, but he's gonna win. He's gonna win. So,
There's a question. What's your opinion on the huge increase in monetization and the decline in content?
yeah, they're trying to make money without question. And I can understand that, and it kind of goes back to what I talked about how there needs to be some sort of way for free to play players to be kind of equal. I understand that it's a game from a company that's trying to make money, so I'm not surprised when this stuff comes out. But sometimes they're really trying to screw people over. People that are desperate to get ahead, or people that just don't realize that it's not a good value for the money. Sometimes some of the stuff they offer, if you have some money to spend, they're great offers, but not often. And the reduction in the content of the game, I'm not sure where that's coming from. Maybe there's going to be a bunch of stuff coming out. Who knows? They did Eternity of Pain I guess it was last year, or earlier this year, whenever it was.
Yeah,
They had
last
the
year.
Eternity of Pain stuff. Stuff like that, I can't imagine it's that hard to put out. But they need to they need to really ramp up their quality control and their testing before they release stuff. Also, and that takes time, that takes money. You gotta pay people to do that, and it takes some time to do it. Also, they have to make changes to the rewards, let's say, for Alliance War, and definitely Alliance Quest, and even the daily stuff, and some of the event quests. They reduced, like, I think they introduced the new Paragon level for event quests, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're releasing new access, like 8.2 is out now, 8.3 is coming, 8.4. And for some people like me, that stuff's challenging. I'm not at the skill level where I can just go through that in a day. I'm not doing any record time runs for this stuff. So for me, that's challenging.
Yeah.
Even with the account that I have. But there probably does need to be some new content. But there's plenty. If you really, for some people, it's not challenging, but there's plenty of content in the game. Like, I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and I play regularly, but I still haven't done the Abyss or Labyrinth of Legends or any of those variants like we talked about. So if I ever really get bored, I've got those to do. I could go if I feel like torturing myself, I could go back and fully explore Act 6 or Act 7 or Act 8 to what we're at right now. So there are some people in the game that have done everything. Fair enough.
I did. I did
and,
everything.
Yeah. So you say you did?
I even did the basic variants, those that where you can use it 4 stars, whatever.
Yeah.
I did all of them 100%.
Yeah. So in that respect, I could definitely understand somebody in your situation being like, "Where's the new content? Where's the new content?" And even for me, it gets a little old sometimes because you're like, well, you can always do Act 8, but I've already kind of done Act 8. I just haven't done this path. I haven't done that path. It's same song, different tune, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I would like to see new content come out to keep people interested. But like I said, they really need to ramp up their quality control and their testing, because when they release stuff and it's bugged, that just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
We have two questions. Two questions.
You expect people to spend money. Go ahead.
Which champs would you like to buff and why?
um,
If you could like pick one or two.
I've always been a fan of Spider-Man. I think he should be tankier than he is. I think his attack, he's great on attack, but he should be able to take a punch. Because if you watch him in the comics, I mean, he in one of the alternate universes in the comics. I didn't read them, but I saw videos about it on YouTube. He finally stopped pulling his punches and basically would have killed Kingpin. And Kingpin's one of the craziest champions in the game. I'd like to see Spider-Man buffed properly. The other one is Captain America. Captain America, pound for pound, should be the best fighting champion in the game. He's not the strongest. He doesn't have any super, well, he's super strength. But from a fighting ability, if you should be able to use him and stand toe to toe with just about anybody in the game. And the only one who can do that is Cap Infinity War, and even he's not. I don't even think he's as good as he should be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If they buffed anybody, I think just OG Captain America, for sure, and probably Spider-Man, OG Thor. Apparently, when he first came out, before I played, apparently he was actually really good.
He was insane. He was insane. You could just stack multiple armor breaks and you could kill everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe take it down one notch and get him to how he used to be. Like some of these mainstay champions in the game, like people that you think of when you think of Marvel, you think of Thor, you think of Captain America, you think of Spider-Man, Iron Man. Iron Man too. He should be he should be tougher than he is. Just OG Iron Man. Some of the OG champions have not gotten the proper respect they deserve. And when they buffed Hulk, I think that was appropriate. They really got him to where he should be. I mean, he's the Hulk, for Christ's sake. He should be smashing everything.
Yeah, they got him right. I think they got him right the second time or third.
Even though he can be beaten, as we saw in the movies, Thanos wiped the floor with him. Well, I don't know what that was about. But yeah.
We have another question. We have another question. I think this 4-month event Clash of Elders will help free to play a lot. Do you agree?
Say it again.
I think this 4-month event Clash of the Elders will help free to play a lot. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Short answer. So. Short answer, yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Someone is asking, are you excited for the new events? I think he's meaning like new Paragon events and also the incursion side quest.
I never really used to do incursions. As a guy that I worked with before I switched hospitals, we worked together. He was the monitor tech. He'd watch all the monitors in the intensive care unit, the heart rate and the rhythm, the heart rate, the rhythm and all that, heart rhythm and all that sort of thing. We would play incursions together, but I'd never really played incursions. But some of the rewards for that are really good. Like they're having the legend thing again, which some of the old time players probably don't like that you can get a legend title from doing that, reaching level 25 in incursions. But reaching level 25 in incursions is not easy. That's not something you just go out. You got a couple free hours you can do. So
no, me and Dion from the team have done it like 5 or 6 times on the channel. It takes 5 hours ish to get to zone 25.
Yeah. And you've got to have some skill and you've got to have some champions to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the new Paragon level event quests should be interesting because the Thronebreaker one can be a little difficult sometimes for me. So Paragon would be interesting, and as long as the new rewards for it are appropriate, then I'm all for it. I'm as long as it works properly, I'm all for any kind of new content. That once I want to say one thing real quick, it just kind of to take Kabam's side for just a second. I am not a computer programmer, but I've been to college a couple times. I've got some degrees, that sort of thing. I think people tend to forget that the fact that the game works as well as it does, as long as it does, as often as it does, is kind of amazing. I don't know exactly how many people around the world play. There's probably 1 million people a day that play, or more. And the fact that the game works as well as it does the majority of the time kind of amazes me. I think that's pretty cool. I think Kabam definitely needs to get some respect for that. But like I said, they could definitely do a little bit better job. in the new releases than fixing bugs and that sort of thing. But it's a very complicated process. I can't even imagine keeping a game like this going consistently like they do. So kind of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, yeah. Some things I need to fix, and also some kudos.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, here I think we're nearing the end now. Is there anything last you want to say, or people want to ask you something on your you've been on your mind, or something you want to tell people, or tell me, or someone else?
Um. No. Maybe just try to be a little nicer to each other, man. We're all playing this game to have fun. It's fine to do a little smack talking and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, we're all just trying to have fun. Some people have different goals. Some people want to really develop their account and they want the newest, fastest, shiniest champion that's out there. They want this, that, or some people want to get through some sort of content, or they have other goals to reach such and such level because they can do this and that. Kind of always, I think, kind of always keep in mind that you know everybody's just playing this game to have fun. Ideally, we have fun. Um, be a little patient. I think Kabam, more or less, I think they do try pretty hard, but they have things they can work on, just like anybody. We all have things we can work on, make better. Um, and if you fight me in battlegrounds and crush me, awesome, good job for you. Don't spam the ha 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 emoji. That's kind of messed up. But try to enjoy the game. Don't take it too seriously, and definitely do not spend money you cannot afford to spend. I spent a lot of money for a while in the game, and I'm at the point now where I haven't hurt myself by any means, but to continue with that, I would have to make serious decisions that could affect my future. How I live. Don't ever get to that point. Don't spend money you cannot afford to spend. Enjoy the game. You got a couple extra bucks you want to offer, go ahead and buy it. That's fine. Maybe quit smoking. Put that money into the game. Cut down on the beers or whatever. But don't hurt yourself financially. Do not do that. It is a game, and that's all it is. You can be very serious about it, and some people really are. But don't hurt yourself financially, man. Don't do that.
That's really good advice, and I just want to say thanks a lot for doing this. I know that this is not everyone wants to do this, so I really appreciate it. I think you were brutally honest and pretty open, and I really appreciate that. And I know that I have been looking forward to it, and it was really great for you to just showcase your account, showcase your opinions and everything. That's really nice, and I appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day with your beautiful background, and I appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in for this,
welcome.
and thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.
All right, take care. You all take care. Have
Thanks,
fun.
man.